I'm out here in nature, and I just wanted to explain a little bit about why I do the art that I do. I think most women, if they were honest, they would say that they are tired of just this onslaught of inadequacy that is thrust upon their shoulders. The ways in which what is woman, whether that is physical, mental, emotional, psychological, spiritual, what is woman is somehow inadequate or not meeting some kind of ideal. A recent study came out and said that 9 out of 10 people in the world harbor some level of bias towards women. That they see them as responsible for the things that happen to them, and that they don't want women to occupy positions of power, or they don't think that they, compared to men, should be accessing positions of leadership. That leadership is not natural for women. I'm doing this art, whether it's orchid art, butterfly art, vulva art, as a reclamation, a way to take back the narrative around women's power. There was a time in human history where in matriarchal societies, women were accepted as leaders, the woman's way of knowing, whatever that means to you. But for me, it just means that accessing this deeper level of compassion, connectedness, nurturance, and softness that is also that is also its own power. For me, that is what a sense of womanhood is. People have different ways of looking at it. I don't want to essentialize womanhood, but that's how I try to sort of capture it with adjectives. I'm doing this art to take the conversation back as much as I am able to, in a drop of an ocean, in a drop of an ocean of discourse. So the orchid art, the poetry, the music, which is also about the vulva. I've got a project right now with 8 other artists on the vulva. It's all about helping women to love themselves in their diversity. If we look at the natural world, it's so incredibly diverse, biodiversity. And yet, there's an expectation of a cookie cutter kind of profile for women. They have to look a certain way, they have to act a certain way. And anything that deviates from that cookie cutter profile, which is manufactured anyway and doesn't exist in reality. Because we all know that the people who, the fashion industry, the music industry, the rap industry, all of these different, the entertainment industry is pushing a certain way of looking at women. But we all know that when those models go back home, when those actors go back home, when those executives go back home, even when the women CEOs go back home, that their lives are complex, their lives are diverse, their loves are diverse. So this biodiversity that also exists in the diversity of women's bodies, part of the power is taking that conversation back to say, this is something very beautiful. This is something very sacred. This is something that we need to honor. This is something that we need to respect. So this is what motivates the work that I do. And I'm very excited to finally have some momentum behind it and finally just to be able to throw my voice into this mix of voices. Whether it's work to support the #EndFGM, female genital mutilation movement, all the organizations and leaders that are doing all this hard work on the ground to end the practice, because the vulva in those societies is so intensively denigrated. Whether it's that work or whether it's the work to empower women to avoid their own commodification. Yeah, avoid their own commodification. If anything is going to be commodified, they decide the terms of that. That's the way it should be. But again, any type of commodification where the body, the human body, the woman's body is made product. It's lost its agency. It is object, not subject. That is a disempowering state, in my view, for a lot of women. So once the woman's body can be the subject, then that's where a great deal of power can be reclaimed. Anyway, just some thoughts as I work through this all through my art. It's such a beautiful part of Canada. Have a great day.